Okay, there we go. So welcome back, people. Great to see everybody on here. All right. My challenge is over on the 20th, slowly trading till then, and then reviewing after. Okay, good stuff. I mean, getting that close to the holidays, just keep in mind that you do not want to start forcing the challenge account, because the closer you get to the deadline of the challenge account, a lot of folks tend to start over trading or over leveraging to make up the difference. The best thing that you could do is to award yourself a free redo. So at least get back up to break even. And then once the markets are a little bit more stable after the holidays, you'll be able to have like a fresh 30 days ahead of you. So if you feel like you're not going to make it, don't try and rush the account. Instead, try to get yourself that free redo, and then just go ahead and crank it out after the holiday season. Okay. I started a 50K account challenge like a week and a half ago, not even thinking it was the end of the year. So I got to trade the rest of the year. You don't have to do anything. Okay. You put yourself in the situation. You're going to have to ask yourself, are the market conditions appropriate for me to beat this challenge? If they're not, you can't just say that I have to trade the rest of the year. I bought the challenge. You're going to have to find a pretty smart way to go about this. And just like the same advice that I give, and please, guys, just today, please don't unmute yourself. Like I don't understand what the point is, but if you don't have a question, please don't unmute yourself today. Um, but if you're doing a challenge towards the end of the year, the most important thing you can do is at least buy yourself time so that after the markets are back stable, you can jump back into the markets and just be able to trade effectively. The end of the year, I really feel like there's just going to be a lot of sideways movement the closer we get to the holidays. And so that's what I want you guys to try and avoid. If you already bought the challenge, like ain't shit you can do, but do not force it the closer you get to the end of the challenge. Don't start to churn the account and try to force it if there's no moves. Just look at the market and say, if there's not a lot of volatility for me to take advantage of, how can I buy myself time to get to the next step, so I can at least buy myself a free redo for the challenge? Okay. Major keys. I was down 5K. Right now I'm down 1,500. So I'm going to get to break even and just ask for a reset. All right, good stuff. All right, so here's what we're gonna do today. I'm only gonna focus on my pairs. I've realized that if I'm gonna be, if I'm gonna get the best results on these streams, I'm just gonna have to trade the way that I trade. I know folks want me to take scalps. I know folks get bored on the stream if it's too long. Honest to God, I don't care. I'm trying to win trading. I'm trying to win these trades, and so I'm gonna be trading this how I trade. And so I'm gonna give you guys the rule book up front. If you don't like the rule book, you guys can hop on somebody else's stream. The way that I trade is I'm going to look for high probability setups at higher time frame zones. I'm going to use the smaller time frames to confirm my entries. If there's no entry that's clear enough for me, I will not take a trade. And so we can be on here for about an hour and then not get a trade. That is very possible. I am not going to jump in a trade just for the sake of being in a trade. If someone has a trade that they would like me to look through, just put don't just say buy NAS or look at NAS. Send a markup. If you send a markup, I'm actually going to open it and we'll be able to review it together. So that's the whole rule book. I'm trading NASDAQ. Maybe I'm trading US 30 as well. But mostly, guys, I focus on NASDAQ. So that is what we're going to do on this stream. If you guys are ready to go, ready to get this started, put something in the chat and the Zoom. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and put something in the chat. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you guys are ready to go and get started going through these pairs. Let me know, y'all. Let me know. Said I had no idea that was an option. Appreciate it. Yep. If you break even on your funded account, they give you a free redo. A lot of people, they just like towards the end of their challenge, they just start to churn the account. They try to just try to make some money like real quick, and then what ends up happening is they get screwed because they're forcing the account and there's no trades. So make sure that you guys are being patient if you are doing one of those challenges. Okay, next order of business before we get started is the FX Summit 2022, the convention. It's a social trading conference that we at ChartAddicts are hosting. This is not some bootleg inside of a hotel lobby type of convention. This is really a large-scale basketball arena type big thing. And so I want every single person who's watching this to show up. If you guys are going to be trading, if you're going to be in the community, if you're going to follow these people on Instagram, if you're going to be involved in the social Forex game, if you're going to be following people on YouTube and watching these certain content creators and following influencers and all this stuff, you guys really need to show up to this conference. This is all the people that you're looking at online, but in person. You get to pick their brains, see them in person. If there's people that you... But I'm kicked. No, we ain't doing that today. Like the reason I hate that unmute shit is because it always messes up my train of thought. I'll have a train of thought going about something, and then somebody will unmute themselves just to have that background noise. And like I said, the default is that you're muted when you come in, so you have to literally click the unmute button to do all that. And so I'm still confused at how that's happening. But the FX Summit, if you are a ChartAddicts member, you get 50% off your general admission tickets, and you get 20% off the VIP tickets if you guys are interested. If you're not a ChartAddicts member, this is still going to be one of those conferences that you don't want to miss, because everybody in the industry that you've been either following on social media or have learned from, or may have taken their course in the past, or may have kind of taken some kind of guidance from, those individuals are all going to be at the conference. They've all already agreed, signed a contract to show up to the convention. So this is not just some like big word of mouth in the basement of some hotel conference room type of bullshit. This is really the largest convention that Forex has ever put together, that the Forex industry has ever had. So looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. If you haven't already bought your tickets, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but things are only going to get sold out the closer that we get.
Right.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
I'm sorry, what is the best place for me to buy my ticket?
Great question.
You probably already answered that 1,000 times, but
no. That's a great question. I probably should have gone through that first. So if you are interested in buying your ticket, head over to fxsummit2022.com.
Okay.
So fxsummit2022.com, and it just says tickets.
All right. Do we get a little discount for being CA members or not? Not at this time.
Yeah. So that's what. So for the first ticket, the general admission, you get 50% off if you're a ChartAddicts member. And then if you want to get the elite or the VIP, we can only do 20% off because there's deposits that we have to put down for the steakhouse and the insurance for the car show. Mm-hmm. So there are some costs there that we can't really budge on, but we could do 20% discount. That's what we did for the elite and VIP.
And how do we apply this discount?
Message me right after this. I'll send you the discount link. I can't put out the discount link publicly because then non-members are going to start to use it. Mm-hmm. So I will message it to you privately and you can just go apply it.
All right. I already messaged you on Discord, so whenever I have a chance, just send me over, please.
Okay, perfect. When you go to the actual like booking page, a lot of people are having trouble finding finding where to put the promo code. Mm-hmm. Right before you even choose the ticket, it says enter promo code right here. Okay. And this it's a small box. You'll click that. You'll enter the you'll enter the promo code, and then you'll hit checkout, and it'll apply it at the discount.
All right, sweet. Thank you very much.
No doubt. Any more questions? Just feel free to reach out. Okay. Event details, like everything, guys, from the whole itinerary for every day, everything is posted here. If you guys need any more information about accessibility, planning your trip, directions, parking, accommodations, places to stay, food, drinks, anything near the convention, we've put everything that you need for this actual trip on the website. So you can find attractions, food, drinks, accommodations, the schedule, the event details, the special guests, right? Who's going to show up? Q Banks, Lambo Raul, Mamba FX, My Life Real Quick, Ryan Gilpin, Emil Machado, Jason, Druzy Banks, James Storms, Alex, Andy, Ken, like the whole industry is going to be here. I am waiting for 2 more contracts to come back, but I have a very special announcement about the guest speakers. Okay, so we have the CEOs of two of the most iconic trading companies today. And I'm not talking about like the Q Bankses and all those. I'm talking about the one that we all use on our phone to enter these trades. That app Yeah, the CEO of that company is in contact with us, trying to come to the convention. And then there's this other app that we all just use to draw charts and stuff like that. You guys might have heard of it. It's called TradingView. Yeah, the CEO of that company, he's in contacts with us now. I want him to show up as a guest speaker.
That's huge, bro.
Bro, that's how this whole thing started, is being in contact with Richard Olson, the co-founder of Oanda, and he's the first one that expressed interest. He's now a
Wow.
professor somewhere in Europe. And so that's how we were able to kind of get everyone on board. Is that was the original conference. It's what if we got the CEOs of these companies to come and give out sauce on stage? And then now it became like a social Forex conference because all of my close friends heard about what we were doing. They saw the convention space, because at first I called Q and I told him about it. He said, "This sounds interesting. Let me know." But in complete honesty, like he wasn't really sure how big this thing actually was. I don't think he had any idea. Once I showed him the convention center, and I think that you guys should go and check out the convention center after this, MVCC Miami.
Yeah, I'm from Miami, so it's huge.
It's the biggest convention center on the
Yeah,
East Coast,
yeah,
right?
it is. It's huge. I mean, I'm impressed you were able to book the place, man. The thing is huge.
Money talks, brother. Money
Yeah,
talks.
no, good
It is.
job.
I'm literally all in financially on this conference. This is not like a. I'm not hoping to come out positive on this conference. I am expecting to lose some money on this, which is perfectly fine with me, because this is going to become an annual event.
Oh,
Everybody
nice.
from the shoe game, like people who resell shoes, people who do comic books, people who are into sports, they all get their own special conventions. But how come, traders, we're kind of like stuck on the side, we're kind of stuck in a corner, and we don't have like a real, community? That's what this is for. So I know that you guys are gonna literally hear me talk about this on every video. I'm gonna beat this to death. But if you haven't already got your tickets to the FX Summit 2022, I suggest that you guys get them before they sell out. Okay. Now,
Genius. Good job, bro.
my guy, I appreciate you. So now let's jump right into the technicals. Last night on the call, I called a sell limit on NASDAQ. Price was sitting right here at this resistance level. And I called a sell limit at 16,400 flat. So what ended up happening is a little bit after the call, about an hour or two after the call, the market flipped up, retested that previous resistance level, created a perfect double top, retested one more time, and then dropped. So when I woke up this morning, we were positive 600 pips on the trade. I think the most that it ended up running was about 1,060 pips, which is freaking crazy. But yeah, guys, whenever I wake up in profits, especially when it's 600 pips, it's a great day. I told you guys that this was going to be my last week trading. I lied. Next week is going to be my last week trading, because I still see that the markets are alive and there's a lot of volatility. So I'm looking to take advantage. But this week specifically, I think this was my last trade of the week. I might take one last scalp with you guys today on this call. Well, not might. Most likely I'll take one last scalp with you guys. But whenever you have a specific target and you go in there and you take a trade, or you take a couple trades and you hit that target, that's when you're supposed to walk away. So if you tell yourself, okay, look, I'm looking to break even from last week and I'm looking to just be blue for the month and just end the year with a blue month, so that I can have like a positive month every single month. That's my goal. As soon as you get back to break even, or as soon as you get back to positive for December, that's your choice. You got to walk away. I was speaking with a student last night when we were doing a consultation, and this scenario was basically his life. He said that he was negative 5% on the month. This is personal account, no funded stuff. He was down 5% on the month, and his goal was just to be positive 5% and just to be completely done. Guy takes two trades and he's up 7% and he doesn't close. So he's floating 7%. He doesn't close because the trade was just getting started. I'll be honest. The trade still had some room to run, and I understand why he wanted to hold, but he was making a decision based on, no, I think the market's going to go this way, as opposed to thinking, what is my financial objective? Have I achieved my financial objective? Okay, it's time for me to walk away. My job is done. You kind of have to be more mechanical with your decisions in trading, or else you're going to just be making emotional decisions based on money. Okay. And that's exactly what he did. And let me see, if you're on this call, bro, you know I love you, but it's true. This is literally what happened. And so the biggest thing that we can do is, when we predetermine something in trading, we have to stick to it, because no good decisions are going to get made once you're in the trade. Let me repeat this. No good decisions are going to get made once you're in the trade. If you haven't predetermined where you're going to enter, you haven't predetermined where you're going to exit, and you haven't predetermined how much you're going to risk, The last thing that you should do is make those decisions once you've already entered the trade. Okay, it's like saying I'm going to learn how to make good decisions in battle once I get in the war. Trust me, when those bullets start flying at you, there's no good decisions that's going to get made. When you step in an octagon for a fight, you don't, all the fighting, all the practice that you have done to prepare you for that specific situation goes out the window as soon as you get hit. So the most important thing is that if you guys are struggling with the psychological part of trading, is make sure that you guys predetermined your entry and your exit before you enter this trade. Okay, if you can do that, then what's going to happen is you're not going to have this emotional discomfort once you're in the trade. I'm going to spit these off just in case folks got to get off to work. We're still in this NASDAQ trade. If it comes up at the market open to retest for a triple top, we could short this thing again. If the market shoots down to our TP1, I'm going to secure the rest of my trade and just close it out. If it holds support here at the market open, we can just keep trading the range. The last trade of the day and the most likely trade to take is honestly just trading inside of this range. Okay. So either going long the bottom of this range here or going long down here. So it's either going to shoot down, create support, we can go long to the top, or it's going to come all the way down and we can go long to the top. Okay, we're not expecting some kind of crazy breakout. We're not expecting some kind of crazy breakout. We're just looking for a trade inside the range, 3,000 or 300 pips to 1,200 pips. That's the range that we're dealing with. Get your trade, get out of the market, and be done. It's really that simple. So NASDAQ, those levels are 250. 16,250 is the floor. 16,400 is the ceiling. Okay, right now it's in the middle. We're doing nothing but waiting for it to either get back to the top or to the bottom. Gold was sitting at this trend line. Previous support was holding, or sorry, yeah, previous support became resistance, was now holding support. And so it kind of looked like price wanted to come back up to the upside to 1793. But like we discussed on the call yesterday, because we're running this upward trend where we're making higher lows and higher highs, if this trend line gets violated and retests outside, then the market was going to come back lower. What we see now is, and I like this pattern a lot, where the market is on a trend, it fakes out, hits a previous level like a Fibonacci level that's also a key daily level, and then continues the trend. From here for gold, honestly, I expect it to come back up to 1786 because I'm seeing this as like a wedge fake out breakout. So here's the wedge fake out breakout. That's scenario one. Scenario two is it could come back and retest this previous resistance before it drops. So either way, in the short term, I am expecting a short-term retracement at the market open. And then at the market open, if we reject here, it'll continue. If we break back above the 1780 level, then it's going to continue as a long position. Stefano called a short position on this. I'm pretty sure it was over London session. We saw this last night, 1787 was forming a head and shoulders. This was last night. And price ended up creating more resistance at that right shoulder before violating the trend line. Now that it's violated the trend line, price is back at a daily support level. It's in the middle of my support and my resistance, so I don't actually like to trade here in the middle. What I'd rather do is I'd rather short at 1781. Or if the market comes back to my support level where the market has aggressive buying pressure, I would rather buy from 1770. Stefano, I'm not sure what you see, but let me know if you agree on this, since this is your pair.
Yeah, for sure. I see longs at 1770. That's my ultimate target right there. So we'll be waiting for that.
Okay, good stuff. You said Dow Jones bears are coming. Let's go ahead and look at U30 real quick. Ooh, yes, they are. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. My base case for this was bullish because we were making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Now we have equal highs. We still haven't broken, so we're still not bullish. But I was sort of expecting this inverted head and shoulder scenario to play itself out, and it might still do that. It might fake out at the market open, hit the 78%, and then come right back up. So that's kind of what I'm looking to see is it going to retest outside of the trend line and then keep going bullish? If it breaks below this support level, like below the 78 and starts to test it as resistance, then this thing is going to come down to 34,800. But I'm very confident because of the bullish momentum that we've been having that this is just going to be like a minor test for a continuation. We'll have to see. The double top on the higher time frame does look convincing for a short, but I don't, I'm having trouble kind of figuring out what US 30 is really doing. On the daily trend, we were forming a downtrend. The markets were selling off towards the end of the year, portfolio rebalancing, et cetera, et cetera. But then we saw this trend line forming, and price ended up creating an inverted head and shoulders at the trend line and just having a massive rally to the upside. And so it's not just every institution is selling right now and just trying to rebalance. There are a lot of institutions buying. That's what we can see with this price. So unless there's some kind of fundamentals, I don't really know why we would get a crash out of the sky. I know that a lot of the markets are kind of uncertain, but I don't know if uncertainty means bearish. So I think we'll just have to see how it reacts around the 78% right here. If it violates this floor, then we short for the session. If it does not violate that floor, so it wicks back up and closes above support, I'm going to personally buy this thing up for this continuation of the inverted head and shoulders. Okay. If I had to list off the confirmations for longs, it would be 1 is the bullish trend. Okay, we've had massive bullish momentum. 2 would be a break outside of the trend line. 3 would be price is still sitting above key Fibonacci level, the 78%, and price is still sitting above daily support. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm trying to see if there's something that can give us an idea of the bias. The only like real threat that I see for shorts right now is the fact that this is the 36,000 key level and we haven't been able to break. We came up to test it. The market couldn't even get it couldn't even make it up to 36,000, honestly. So that's kind of what I see now is we are still sitting below this key resistance, but we have our range. So it's buy low, sell high for me. If we hold above this support, that'll be a buying zone. If we break below and then come back above, then I can buy on the retest back in. And that's just how I'm going to trade this at the market open.
Good. Roy, can you do something for me real quick? You see that impulsive move from top to bottom?
I'm having trouble hearing you. What'd you say?
I'm sorry. Can you do something for me? Can you see that impulsive move from top to bottom? Not from all the way up, that high, the wick.
This one?
All the way up. No. But don't flip it. Don't flip it.
You said top to bottom.
Yeah, that's the same impulse. So can you do an extension, a Fibonacci expansion from point 1, 2, and then the retracement from the top? That's point anchor with that one. So where do you see the extension there? 127. Yeah, I can see buys there. Do you see that the 0?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I can see buys.
So that's the start of the trend. So this is 9 a.m. What is that? December 7th. This is the low from Tuesday. So this is the New York session low from Tuesday. This is the high from last night. So that's our weekly range so far. And so a retest of the low of the weekly range or a retest of the high of the weekly range, those are the highest probability trades. So like with my strategy, it goes, you could even do this. Buys down here, or you could short at any of these fib levels.
Any of those levels, yeah.
You see the right shoulder kind of situation here. But the way I look at this is we have that overall range, and then we have a micro range inside. So the scalps are on the inside, which is right here. You see support level here, support level here, support level here. Then we see resistance, same thing. Resistance, 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 resistance. And so it's like we have your primary support, secondary support, and then you have your, primary support, secondary support, primary resistance, secondary resistance. So
nice.
Longs here. If it breaks down, longs down here. If it breaks this, bearish.
Bearish.
Pretty easy. Short here. If it breaks this, short here. If it breaks this, bullish. Fair enough?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Can't get simpler than that. Yeah, the market open, that's why this is why like it'll actually be pretty clear to see what's going to happen because at the market open, we're going to get a fake out to test one of these levels. So let's imagine like at the market open, it shoots up like this, and then it starts to wick down, starts to wick down. You could take a short right here and just catch it down to the low of this range, or even just to the low of this range right here. So it would go, that's 2,000 pips down. If we buy at the secondary support, just this move here is about 900 pips. So you guys will start to see how crazy that is. Like once you have your ranges, you don't need to, like a lot of people are trying to guess whether the market's going to break down or whether the market's going to make new highs. I think if you just learn to trade zones and you can just trade it from zone to zone, you can make the most money. Just because you'll get like a high probability move like from here to here. You'll make 900 pips on this move alone. And then even if the market bleeds and you're on the wrong side of the trade, you still walked away with 900 pips. So that's the beauty of trading these zones. And the levels are posted here. You guys can just see that. Okay. Last, let me see if there's any news today. I know that there was the jobs report yesterday. We can talk about what that means for the economy. Unemployment claims just came out right now. Fewer than expected. What the hell is going on? What is going on? What is going on? 184,000 new unemployment claims? This is making no sense. That news should be bullish for the indices at the market open. It's the markets haven't really been respecting the fundamentals, but what this means, guys, is that they were expecting 218,000 people to apply for unemployment last month. Okay, or 200 more people. So this is like the number of people who filed for unemployment for the very first time. That number came out a lot better than expected. Okay, only 184,000 people have applied for unemployment in the past month, as opposed to what we were expecting. That means that the economy is doing a lot better from an employment standpoint. And if if the market is, or if the economy is doing well from an employment standpoint, that means the indices should be bullish. Okay, because if people have jobs, that means they're going to go spend money. When they go spend money, it ends up in stocks. It ends up in either stocks or in the companies where the stocks represents, Amazon, Netflix, Walmart, all this stuff. And then because you're shopping at Walmart, Amazon, Netflix, all this stuff, their stock goes up. And so the indices go up. So positive job numbers means more money in the economy, which means more people spending more money, which means these companies are doing better, which means their stock goes up, which means the indices go up. Okay, so that should be positive. Now, the news that came out yesterday is the number of open jobs. The reason that this is not going to be positive, even though it's good for the economy, is because we have 11 million open jobs. So the number of jobs that are open in the economy, and these are not low-income jobs. These are all jobs, skilled jobs, high-income jobs, blue collar, white collar, all jobs. We have 11 million open jobs in the economy, but we only have 7 million unemployed people. So what the fuck are the rest of the people doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they being productive in the economy? Are they not? We don't know. Are they self-employed? Are they doing projects? Are they trading? Are they crypto millionaires? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is not good for the markets. So what this is showing us, this number here, is that not a lot of people are applying for unemployment, but we have a lot of open jobs, which means that we're something called a labor shortage. Labor shortage means that there's not enough skilled workers to take on the jobs that need to get taken, which means that that's not good for the economy. So I think that the market's going to receive this poorly. It's not going to be positive based on the news yesterday. Yep. Just based on an overall picture, that should be bullish. But because of the news yesterday, I'm expecting bearish. And that's what we're probably going to see at the market open. So U30 either longs at the low, or if it violates the low and starts to test outside, we have this pretty clear range that we could short from. NASDAQ is still running in profits. Let me know in the chat if you guys are still in this NASDAQ trade or if anyone's still in NAS. What's your thoughts on CPI tomorrow? This is probably the biggest story in the financial markets now is inflation. The reason that the markets are kind of panic selling is because the Federal Reserve, they normally print money. In the past 2 years, we've been in sort of like a borderline recession kind of stage. So they've just been printing money. And the interest rate has been almost zero, which means the cost to borrow money is almost free. As a bank, they can borrow for free. The Federal Reserve is now on a mission to raise the interest rates next year. Now, if you guys want to see what happens when the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, go check what happened in the markets in December 2018. Okay, December 2018, they made a huge policy mistake. They tried to raise rates without telling anyone. They didn't even raise rates. Like, guys, they raised the rate to borrow money by like 0.2%, not even like by a percentage, by 0.2%, and the markets bled. The markets punished the Fed like something fierce. So the Fed is kind of stuck with this free money, printing unlimited amounts of money kind of like scam that they're running, because every time they try to close the faucet, the markets punish them for it. That's what's happening now. They're talking about raising the interest rates and the markets are punishing the Fed for it. Now, the reason that CPI is so important tomorrow is because the only reason that the Fed is raising rates is because inflation has officially gotten really bad. The price of things, because of all the money printing, has just started to go crazy. So now the Federal Reserve, instead of them focusing on productivity and growth, which was their mandate for the past 2 years, their job was to basically stimulate the economy back to health. What they did was they ended up inflating the prices of all the consumer goods. So now we're all paying goddamn $7 for bread and $10 a gallon for gas. That's what the fuck they did. And so now their number one priority is to rein in the inflation. Let's rein this inflation back in. Let's stop the money printing. Let's end the game. And let's bring the inflation down a little bit, because that's their number one focus. Now, what does that do? When the Federal Reserve makes battling inflation their primary focus, as opposed to growth in the economy, they're going to put us in a state of recession. Okay, when you take away the free money, the stimulus, when you take away the low interest rates that we've been having, when you take that away, you stop the game. When you stop the game, people stop creating, inventing, borrowing, making money, growing, and the growth in the economy stops. America's in a shit ton of debt, guys. America's in a shit ton of debt to ourselves and to other people, or to other countries. We need to grow as a country in terms of our GDP. We need to grow the size of our economy. More companies, more jobs, more everything, more size, more bigger stock market, bigger. We need to grow out of this problem so that we can afford to pay back our debts. The only way that we can afford to grow is in an environment where rates are cheap, because you can go to the bank and every small business owner can borrow for a cheap price. When they raise the interest rates, nobody borrows and nobody lends. Banks, they stop lending. So people who wanted to get a house, they can't go get a house. Businesses that want to go get a loan, they can't get a loan. So the Fed is stuck in the most difficult situation I think they've ever been in. They have printed so much money that the price of consumer goods is skyrocketing. Now they're responsible for bringing those prices back down. But in order to do it, they have to completely stall the economy. Do you guys understand this dilemma? Okay. You say, well, Roy, I don't really care about this stuff. Well, you're basically just going to be losing money every year and you won't know why. The only people that are going to make money off of this scenario are the people that are paying enough attention to realize that the Federal Reserve is playing a scammy ass game with your money. And if you're not careful and you don't buy things that are going to keep up with this scam, things that are going to outperform this scam, you're going to be poor in the future. And so those things are, we talked about those on the crypto call and things like that. So what do I think about inflation tomorrow? They're going to lie about the number. The number is going to come lower than the real number, which is around 7% right now. And then the rest of the market is going to punish the Bureau of Labor Statistics for lying. Earlier this year, the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Fed were both giving, guys, this is really fucked up. Like we kind of We literally as a country just glided right past what happened, but they lied. The Federal Reserve gave us wrong numbers. They released incorrect data to us on purpose to make the inflation rate seem lower. And then they got exposed. And so now whenever there's inflation news and it comes out lower than the real rate, the markets crash. So if this thing comes out low, if they say like, oh, inflation's only 3% or whatever it is, the markets are going to fucking crash. If they come out honest, if they at least say, okay, we have 6% inflation, it's bad, but here's why we're going to grow out of it, the markets won't punish them for it. So that's kind of like that's the dynamic between the market participants and the economic actors who basically control the economy. So that's, you know, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys like are interested in the fundamental side of things, but I feel like if you're trading something, you better fucking know how it works. Okay? If you guys are trading used cars and you don't know anything about cars, yeah, you can make money. You can actually make money being oblivious, but up to a certain point. After a certain point, you get stuck. Okay? So at least understand the market that you're participating in and understand the bigger picture for what moves these markets. Where's the FX Summit going to take place? Yeah, it's going to be in Miami, Florida. Will it be recorded and then we can buy it? I'm not sure what that means. Can you look at GA? It says dropping gems. That's what you guys are here for. This is not some bullshit. No, I'm not even going to roast anybody on this. I was going to start roasting other streams. Y'all get on other streams and I guarantee that 90% of the time they're talking about some random shit that you're probably losing brain cells on. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is like full on head to head. These people are wasting y'all's time. I'm going to be completely honest. Okay. But when you get on the stream, I know I talk a lot. I know I talk fast. I know some of these concepts might go over your head, but I guarantee as long as you're paying attention, you'll at least learn something. And that's the whole goal here. So number one is we're going to make money. But number two is at least you guys walk away with something. So who want to scalp this? Who want to scalp this U30 with me at the market open? Now, what's it called? Only going to take post-market trades. So we'll see how that reacts. GU hit TP, created a double bottom, and now is most likely going to come back up. A classic wedge breakout scenario. We had the pressure cooker, the wedge right here. The market faked out, created a double bottom. Now we're probably going to fake out the other direction and then drop. All right, so those two fake outs, I kind of love trading those patterns. This thing might come back up to retest the 78, or it might come up a little bit higher. But I think 327, that's still the price that I'm watching for a continuation on GU. Okay, so short-term bullish push up. It still has about 50 pips to go until it gets there, but the market's clearly bearish. We've broken below the daily zone, so a quick retracement back up, and then we can short it down. I was bullish on GJ yesterday. We had a bullish impulsive push right here off of the daily key level. We had this minor support forming right here, where it kind of looked like the market was gonna push up. The only thing is, I feel like the entry was a little premature because it never broke above this resistance level, the 150.8, which is really the zone that we need to break to confirm the bulls. 150.8 for GJ. So right now, it's a pretty classic bullish push, a retracement back down to a key level. Price is still forming higher lows at the trend line. So from right here, honestly, this is where I could see the buys at 149.8. It's the same zone that we were looking at yesterday. So I told you guys I'm only taking one more trade today. I think I'm going to save my chips for either US 30 or NASDAQ, maybe take a re-entry on NAS or just take a US 30 trade. But for GJs, I would either enter right now if you guys are looking for GBP JPY at home, or I would enter a buy limit at 149 flat. All right, and the stop loss needs to be outside of the range. So if you're taking this riskier trade right now, where it's a little bit of a risky entry just because of how far it is from the daily range, but it's still a 2.5 to 1 risk and reward. So it's still it's still a decent trade. If you are looking to enter at 149, stop loss a little bit wider, that's a 5 to 1 risk and reward trade. So you ask yourself which one of these makes more sense for your trading account. Personally, if I only had one ammo, you said, Roy, this is your mother's account. You can only take one trade, do or die. If there was only one trade I could take on this pair, this is kind of like a running joke I have, but that's really how I look at, how many trades should I take left? If I only had one trade, it would be the buy limit at 149. All right. It would be the buy limit at 149, catch this wick up. Even if it's a small move, you can secure partial profits and hold the rest. And if it continues to run, then you will be in profits. So that's the trade that I would take on this pair. I am not trading GBP JPY, just as a disclaimer. But if you are looking at this, that's what I would do if I was trading it. Okay, the DXY did everything that we wanted it to, people. It did everything we wanted it to. Channel, breakout, test the lows of the channel, come back up, and now we're either going to break through this resistance or break back under. I think what the market is waiting for the DXY is actually this 30-year bond auction, which is how many people are buying long duration bonds for the US government. And what a bond is usually like right now, any one of us can go give money to the government and loan them money. How many of you guys loan your friends, never paid you back? Now you can loan the government money. The government gonna pay you back, most likely, because they can print money. And so lending your money to the government is one of the safest things that you can do, but they don't pay you barely anything, okay? And that's what bonds are. So whenever you guys see like 30-year, 10-year, 5-year, 4-year, I want you guys to think about the duration. How long are you loaning them money for? Now you guys are all hip to what bonds are. Congratulations. You just learned something else on this call. All right, a 30-year bond auction means 30-year bonds. 30-year bonds are held for how long? You guys let me know in the chats. How long do you loan the government money for with a 30-year bond? Somebody tell me. He said 30 years. Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate you guys. So that's basically it. Everybody, like these financial products seem complicated until somebody breaks them down and you're like, damn, that's pretty straightforward. You're telling me a bond is just where I loan somebody money and they have to pay me back? Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. I have not explained this concept, but based on what we just learned, what is a corporate bond? Corporate meaning like a company. What is a corporate bond? Somebody tell me. And you can't already know what bonds are. If you already know what bonds are, everyone knows what a corporate bond is. But if you don't already know what bonds are, and I just explained to you, it's a contract where you loan somebody money. What is a corporate bond? He said, sir, needed your signal. I don't know what half y'all talking about in these chats, man. I'm gonna be honest. He said 30 years, 30 years. Yep. So what does a corporate bond mean? Just one person tell me. Just tell me what a corporate bond is. If you're just here to wait for a trade, I've already given out all the levels. You've either already set the buy limits or you're just here drooling on yourself. If you're still here, it's probably because you want to learn and you want to wait until we find an entry and enter with the squad. But if you're here to learn, at least engage a little bit, yo. So Alameen in the YouTube said you own a huge you owe a company money. That's basically it. So a government bond is where you lend money to the government and they pay you back. A corporate bond is where you loan money to a company, and based on how healthy that company is, they're supposed to pay you back. All right. Some of you guys are like, I don't care about this stuff. You're in the financial markets. It's time for you to start caring about the financial markets. I'm just going to be completely real. Some of you guys are like, I don't care about this options and the bonds. And I'm not asking you to be an expert. I'm just asking you guys to understand the game that you're playing. And so when you see 30-year bond auction and you say, how is that going to affect the dollar? Well, it definitely helps if you understand what a bond is. You see what I'm trying to say? He said it's a bond issued by a corporation. All right, that doesn't count. He said, what's a municipal bond? It's a bond issued by a municipal. That don't help you figure out what that means.
Recording in progress.
Boom. He said, sir, I needed your signal. Gold analysis on 15 and 4-hour chart. Bro, get off the stream. A security. He said, what if they can't? What if they can't pay you back? Well, that's what happens all the time. This is why companies go bankrupt. He said, sir, please give the signal. Bro, you on the wrong call. Go hit somebody else 15 pips, 15 pips trading stream. Go to them, but you at the wrong place.
Signal chasers.
Signal chasers for real. Like, what in the fucking world makes you think getting on YouTube and begging a grown man to send you a signal is going to make you money? And what fucking frequency do you have to be operating to be like, you know what? I'm going to start typing this like, this really desperate message over and over and over in the YouTube and hope that this man sends me a signal. Buddy, if there was a signal, I'd have sent it already. I'm not withholding information from y'all. I promise. I'm not sitting here like, oh, I see this trade. I ain't gonna fucking tell him. Like, if the trade presents itself, if this thing tests the highs and the lows, you're gonna know. If you want me to give you a rushed signal, I can give you a rushed signal, but there ain't no guarantees what's gonna happen. I give you a shitty signal just for fuck's sake. Can't do that. Gotta preserve the reputation. But ChartAddicts members, you guys know how to enter these trades. I've given you the levels. If you're a CA member and you guys are on the actual Zoom, let me know if there's any pairs or anything that you guys want me to pull back up real quick before you hop off. I'll show you those levels. Then you guys can lickety split, get on with your day. If you guys want to stay on and just shoot the shit, I'm literally going to be here shooting the shit until the market open. So,
Roy, I got a question for you.
that's my take. Talk to me.
Okay, on the Nas's I'm on the 1 hour. I see like a trend line there, and it starts on let me see. It started on it looks like the 26th. It's kind of like if you go back towards the 26th all the way up until now, it's like a trend line was forming from the 1630 area.
The 26th of November?
Yes.
Oh, you talking
And then
about
it kind of formed a
big
trend.
wave. You talking about this?
So it kind of, on the 26th, you probably, right there at the bottom, I see a trend line forming all the way across from there, all the way up until like where our price is in that area. So I was kind of looking at that. I've been looking at that for a couple of days. I mean, well, not for a cool. Yeah.
I like that. So the thing about NASDAQ is, unlike the other pairs, it actually does follow these channels really, really well. Let me see if I can line up the same angle with something else. Oh my God. So usually what I do is, if I want to test to see if the trend line is accurate, I'll basically just start cloning it, and I'll see if price is playing in these channels. So you can see it's like price will basically play in a specific range. Right there.
And price is like hitting it right now on the 1 hour.
Yep.
Perfectly.
So there's two ways to draw it. Like right here, we got touch, pull through, and now price is under. I guess that way, the first way, that makes a lot more sense. I could see it dipping down, touching the line, and then continuing if this is valid. But I think the best way to look at this honestly is just in terms of zones. The first thing before I look at lines and trend lines is the horizontal zones. Because you got to understand that institutions, when they move price, and market makers, when they're making these markets, they don't go based, like, they do touch trend lines because that's how they execute the trades, but they really set limit orders based on a price. Okay, so prices is really what you should be paying attention to in all these markets, because that's where the banks and the institutions regularly make their moves. So if we look at this resistance up here, the 16,400, it wasn't because it's at resistance that the market makers sold. It's because the best entry for them to execute their order is at that 16,400. So what I want to do is I want to mark off that 16,400, and I want to mark off all the other levels that the banks may try and push the market from. The reason I could see price rejecting the support down here is because we look left and it is a previous area where the market gets stuck. Okay, that's support right there. Right before the market made this giant push, we got stuck right here. You know, but most other times we do end up breaking through to the lower zone. There's another one right under, right here. So a lot of the time we just end up breaking through and touching the bottom zone. And so what I really like to do is just sandwich the price in between these horizontal price zones. And then I just look at lows and highs. So if this is low and this is high, you tell me, are we closer to low or high?
I'd say high.
You see what I'm saying? And so I don't necessarily want to buy right here.
Right.
If it retests a previous area of like a high reaction zone like this one, where every time the market gets here, let me zoom in a little bit. Every time the market gets here, we see a high reaction right here. So if it dips down like this, that is something that I could see. But from where it's at right now, I personally wouldn't take a trade. Only because not only is it in the middle of my big range, it's in the middle of my little range too. So even in this like little baby range, it's still in the middle. So I'd rather buy from the bottom or short from the top. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For sure. Keep an eye out on those trend lines though. If you keep drawing your channels and you kind of fan them out on NASDAQ, you're going to start to find that they respect these levels like crazy. Let me show you guys a quick example. And I know if you have to head off, this is recorded, but I want to show you guys a quick example. That's one. You guys can see this is where price ended up touching from. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually took this long position before the market burned us. That's 2. So you guys can see not only was there one touch, there was a second touch. Okay, so 3 touches confirms a zone. We had 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so if you just keep playing this game, you'll basically just find the zones that the market's playing in. And here's the next one. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then now price is breaking back under it. And the true test of these zones is they're kind of like when they're the same distance apart from each other. So when they're not the same distance, I'll actually just adjust them to see if I can kind of get them a little bit more accurate. Okay, that's good. They're about the same distance apart. Some of you guys are like, what is he doing right now? You learn this just from messing around. Like if you spend enough time on the charts, you'll start to learn stuff like this and just find the patterns of the market in a way that you've never expected. Okay, so that's we had 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch, and then that was the sell to the downside. Okay. And so these will just be support, turn, resistance, just like the same way that a horizontal zone would. And so my idea was I wanted it to come down to 16,100 and then from here continue back up. That was my base case. What we do know is that if it does break above 16,400, then we have the next target, which is up here. And we play the ranges like that. Make sense? That was a master class on how to analyze markets specifically for NASDAQ using the Gann, what the fuck are they even called? Channel tool, whatever. He said, you already told them they to buy GJ if they want. I mean, bro, look, I'll be honest. I tell people so much stuff and I still get the same questions over and over. It's because I say a lot of stuff. I don't blame you guys, right? I'm kind of like ADHD in a way. I kind of go all over the place. We talked about fundamentals. We talked about CPI. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. A few of you guys are like ready, up, active, and you actually understood everything I said because I tried to make it kind of like in a story form. Some folks I could literally give a signal right now and they'd still find a way to fuck it up. It's just the nature of the game. It's the nature of the game. Who is dedicated to actually succeeding and paying attention, and who is just here to get spoon-fed? That's the question you got to ask yourself. So definitely testing it out this weekend. That's what we got to do. That's why Raja don't trade with trend lines, because of this. Well, it's another confirmation, right? It's another confirmation. There's a lot of, you just saw on NASDAQ that it respects those zones. And so you could tell me, you could sit here and pretend like trend lines don't work, but you just saw it with your own eyes. He said, Professor Ray, where's the signal? My boy got my name wrong. My boy got my name wrong and still wanted me to send him a signal. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove Mans from the YouTube. I'm weak. Put user in timeout. Okay. You're getting sent to timeout, layer cake. Don't be asking stupid questions. Can we have more live stream days on mostly fundamentals? Yeah, of course. Learn to trade. Stop asking for signals. Wow. Revolutionary. Revolutionary. How about using Fibonacci's? I love using Fibonacci's. Zones are still more reliable in my opinion. The thing about trading is there is no correct answer. You have to use the zones and the trend lines and the Fibonacci and your moving average and this and that and something else to be able to build a high probability strategy. You guys understand? Just having one confirmation is not enough, because you're not going to get the best, like the highest probability trade just using one confirmation. Okay? So keep in mind that you're going to need to stack confirmations on top of each other.
You can't build a house with one tool. You got to use multiple.
You got to use multiple for sure. But I don't even think that's the right example. What I would say is that you can't just use one material for your foundation.
Right.
Because let's say that you only use like that balsa wood, that really, really cheap stuff, and you don't use the cement or anything else for your foundation, you're going to be screwed. You're going to have to use the cement and the balsa wood and the wires to be able to do the foundation and the structural and all the stuff to build a solid structure and a foundation. Can you do an interview with Nina? Everyone keeps telling me to do that. I have never seen Nina trade. This is like, I can't just have people on the stream if I have never watched them trade, or on the podcast. All right. This dude getting mad weird in the chat, calling me cute and whatnot. This is how you get kicked from the joint. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, if I can see Nina trade for a little bit, I really have no issue getting her on, but I just need to be able to verify that she's real. Her page looks like one of those like advertisement marketing kind of Forex pages. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. Said every person that asks for a signal should get a ChartAddicts link. Yeah, for real. I mean, yo, if you're a ChartAddicts member, you're getting these signals. If you're not a ChartAddicts member, you're in the chat right now begging for a signal. And so I think it's pretty straightforward that if you want signals, that you would sign up for ChartAddicts and come get signals. Fuck yeah. How about quarter theory on NAS? I don't use quarter theory, but I actually haven't backtested it much. Do you have a YouTube channel? But that just has to be the stupidest question I've ever read. But you're on the YouTube channel right now. How are you watching this?
Classic.
How did you? I'm fucking around, man. I'm reading the stupid comments just because honestly they fucking geek. Normally, like those comments I just kind of ignore. My boy said, do you have a YouTube channel? Bruh, you watching this on the YouTube channel. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. Look, I'm actually gonna hop off early today because I do have a lot of work. I'm not gonna waste y'all's time for 30 minutes, kind of just talking shit about people on YouTube. Here's the US 30 position. If you guys want to scalp this up, the best trade that you guys can find would probably be like a halfway trade right here. Then it's going to shoot down at the market open and then do this. So you could either wait for the buy at the market open. You could set a buy limit at these wicks right here, wait for it to activate you, You could do a short-term sell from the top of the zone. Those are some pretty straightforward trades for US 30. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions about any pairs before we hop off. I've given you guys the levels that I'm watching. Market open, you're going to expect a whipsaw, and then you're going to expect the direction of the trade. You're going to expect a whipsaw, whether it's to the downside, and then you're going to expect the direction of the trade. Do not get naive and be like, oh my God, the markets got so crazy today at the market open. Guys, you do this shit every day. Nothing is going to be fucking different today. The market's going to start to go a certain way right before the 9:30 market open. Right at the market open, there's going to be a giant whipsaw, a giant wick. Oh my God, it's going bearish. Oh my God, it's going bullish. And then there's at like around 10 a.m., there's going to be the trend for the day. Don't fucking lose money on the market open. If you do catch a market open trade, don't give that money back. And if you do find the entry after the market open, make sure that you get in without hesitation, because you might miss your entry if you're hesitating too much, looking for the perfect trade. Okay. I hope that was straightforward for everybody. I've tried to give as much direction as possible about these moves before they happen. The last thing is to basically just enter these trades. That everybody needs to be able to do. All right, you guys got to be able to enter a trade. That's like the very basics of trading. So at this point, you have the levels, you have the directional bias on most of these pairs. Okay. All you have to do is wait for price to hit one of those daily key reaction zones, and then to be able to take a position based on those daily reaction levels. Okay. Any final questions before we hop off? How do you manage your sleep, Roy? I sleep at the same time every day, and I wake up at the same time every day. I wake up before the sun gets up. I try to avoid looking at the sun, or I try to avoid looking at any light at my phone or anything else 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after I wake up. Or 30 minutes before I sleep, 30 minutes after I wake up. And then by doing that, I'm able to sleep consistently and get my circadian rhythm in check. He said he's trolling. I think they're doing that on purpose. Yeah, I am. He said wicks don't lie and capital hungry are the best. No bullshit. Best at what? Like, what does best mean? The comments here on YouTube are crazy. Yeah. Everyone drop a like. Yeah, if you guys are watching this, just drop a like real quick. There's over 100 people still watching on YouTube. Just go ahead and click that like button or hit the dislike. I don't give a fuck. Just click one of them. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Here, I'll show you guys how it's done. You go over here. Ready? This is asking for a lot. I know I'm asking for a lot from you guys, but I'm going to show you how to like a video on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to go. You guys ready for this? Don't blink. There's a lot of steps to this. You're going to go to that like button and you're going to take your finger and just hit that. Oh, whoa. All right, that was my sarcastic way of saying it ain't nothing but a chicken wing. Go down there, hit that like button, help us out so this the algorithm can boost us to a whole bunch of people. He said he asked if you had a YouTube channel in the YouTube chat. Yeah. He said, shout out Roy the GOAT. I am not a GOAT. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a GOAT. I put in fucking work. All right. And everybody here is capable of doing the same thing. All right. In 4 or 5 years, when you guys have been studying the markets as intensely as I have been for the past 4 or 5 years, then you will also be able to be called a GOAT, because you'll be calling trades that are so precise and so consistent that people might think that you have some sort of competitive edge over them. Really, the only competitive edge that I have is that I skipped my college classes and went into debt, you know, trying to learn trading. I would skip my classes, fail exams, whatever, and I would just spend days in front of the charts. I lost sleep, lost hair, lost friends, lost whatever it took to succeed at trading. When people call me the GOAT, I am flattered, but really, y'all, I just worked harder than most, and that's why I'm here. That's why I get to make however much money I make in a week, and I have no remorse. Right? I used to feel bad. I'm like, oh, God, I made $5 grand in a week. Like, a lot of people work so hard for this. Like, is this right? Now I'll make 20K in a day now and say, yes, I deserve that shit. Fuck, did y'all see what I just been through? How much is your program? It's $99 a month. It's $99 a month, and you get unlimited private coaching with myself and the rest of my team. Okay. He says Crypto Mom. I like that name. He says Crypto Mom. He says best channel I've been on. Hey, I'm jealous of y'all. I wish I could be listening to this right now. That's all I'm saying. All right. It's good to see you guys. Keep holding that NAS. If you guys see a retest at the market open, you can take another trade. But all in all, if you woke up in profits, like I said, I woke up 600 pips in profits. I ain't giving that shit back. But if you guys want to keep trading, you have the levels, you got what you need. It's great to see all of you. Happy and safe trading today. Peace. On YouTube, this is the last reminder I'm going to give you guys. The FX Summit 2022 Social Forex Conference is the first and only conference of its kind in the world. It's going to be in Miami, Florida at the Miami Beach Convention Center, May 13th through the 15th of next year. If you guys are interested in more information or you guys are interested in grabbing your tickets, please head over to fxsummit2022.com, fxsummit2022.com. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys there so we can meet in person and I can give you guys shit in person if you're on the YouTube chat, or we can just shoot the shit in person if you're a ChartAddicts member.